for our weekly presentation that comes up every week, and I'm so happy again to have you for today's presentation. If you are following the presentation at this hour, I am Cool Donald Vichas thanking you once again for coming to this presentation wherein we are a Glow community looking at the topic, the main theme, understanding your growth process, which is the part three of what we have been looking at. The part one, which was centered on how to measure your personal growth. The second part was common mistakes in building professional relationships, wherein a lot of young people who followed the program got back to me with the good feedback, and the one that is available at my YouTube channel. Kindly follow and, of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more weekly presentations. And I want to thank you so much for being here again to follow the topic for tonight, which is little steps that make a difference in life. The topic for tonight's presentation centers on little steps that make a difference in our life, in career, in whatever domain that you find yourself as a young person, as a youth leader, as a student. The little steps that you will always put in place that will go a long way to create an impact for your life. And this is the part three of the main topic, understanding your growth process. Now, it is popularly known and it is popularly said that a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a bold step. And it is possible to take steps and still don't reach your destination. And it is also possible to keep on towards the right path that you have chosen, and you are able to make a difference in that path, provided it is a right one. And it becomes very important for your growth process by being aware of the steps that you take in order to create that impact in your life, by focusing on the lessons that you get to learn from the process of your growth process. And it is one thing, like I earlier said, to identify a path in life, and it is another thing to know the right step towards that path that you have chosen. Some young people tend not to take the right step. Some young professionals tend not to take the right step. Why? Because they have chosen the wrong path without actually understanding the direction to that path, and they focus on a speed towards that wrong direction, which leads to a dead end. Meanwhile, others find it difficult to actually determine the right path. And if you are in this presentation tonight, that you actually find it difficult to take the right path in your journey of becoming, or in that career path, it is very important to know that by not identifying that right path is a normal thing for a startup person to determine, and it always takes a while. That is why, as a startup, you should be able to think deep, you should be able to decide, you should be able to try new things, the ones that resonate with your values, and of course, that one thing that can give you fulfillment. If you can be able to determine that one thing that can give you fulfillment, that one thing, that one problem that you want to solve in the society, that thing that causes you to be angry whenever you see people doing it, and this becomes the path that you can be able to take, and it becomes much easier for you to be able to take that bold step, towards that direction wherein you feel like you can create a transformation, a change in the lives of people by the value that you get to produce, by the value that you get to offer in that path where you have chosen. And the more you get to create more the value, the greater the transformation that you get to create in people's life. And that belief that you have in you continuously move you towards that greater part that exceeds and of course makes you stand out as someone who has taken a step in that dimension or in that direction with the responsibility of creating impact. And of course you should be determined, you should be focused and setting standards that takes you towards that goal of achievement in your life, in your career, in your education, in whatever thing that you're building, and of course making you to stand out, like I earlier said. Now, how to focus on the right steps? How now do you then focus on the right step? Remember, we are looking at the general theme, understanding your growth process, under the topic little steps that make a difference in life. When you understand the process, you need to, that's the first point that we shall be looking at, is for you to trust the process. Actually, you need to trust the process. It's like you stepping into deep water without actually knowing the deep or the level or the depth of that water, and you need to take one little step at a time with the trust that you will get to the next level. And of course, having this trust at times in life will, and you will encounter difficulties, hardship, obstacles, and things may seem not to go the way you were planning and hinders you from not moving forward. You can always take the opportunity to step back, review your goals, focus on the little steps, and trusting on the process by doing, having that burning desire. When you trust the process of climbing that ladder of your growth process, you need to have the burning desire that no matter how challenging it can be, it may be, no matter how far it may seem to be, you would continuously have that burning desire in you that will cause you to move forward. And the second point on how to trust the process is for you to look at your past successes in that path that you have chosen. We are able to determine our next step by actually sitting back to look at those challenges that we, when thinking that we could not achieve, and through these challenges we were able to look at success stories from those difficult moments and how we were able to sail through that particular challenge, and it helped us to move forward. Now, when you trust the process and obstacles come your way, what I'm trying to say is you look at your past successes and you try to come out with strategies from those past successes in order to take that one bold step towards the right direction that will go a long way to make a difference in your life. Now, how do you equally trust the process? Is for you to have a role model. This role model will serve as a mentor tool for you to always ask yourself, if this role model has been able to climb this ladder to this level, the ladder to his success to this level, how could he or how can he solve this challenge that you are presently facing? How could he, if he was the one, overcome this challenge that you are currently facing in that step that you are about to take? When you have a role model and you get to ask yourself these pertinent questions, then you would be able to look at ways or strategies or possible solutions to the present challenge that you face, to the present difficulty that you are going through, by picturing how your role model could have solved that problem and actually taken that one bold step towards that direction that you want to belong, that you want to make a difference. And of course, by so doing, you gradually move to your growth path. And of course, the second point that we shall be looking at is for you to value learning over money. Value money, learning over money. It is very true that finances limit the ability for young professionals, for young startups to actually take certain step in life and in their career, which is the reason why you find a lot of people, young professionals, having it difficult to climb that mountain of their career, to actually take that bold step, that little step, that lesson that you will learn from your part in order to make that change. That is what is is necessary. And by the time you focus on building that value instead of money, you will realize that there are certain things that you will need to put in place by, of course, shaping your values. By so doing, you discover that when you focus on shaping your value, your goals will be the first thing that you put in place, and these goals will serve as you climbing a mountain and having just one thing, or that you have a lot of important things to use in order to climb the mountain, but you focus on choosing the first things, or the things that are necessary for your path, and you focus on it. By so doing, you renew or you refine those goals, you shape those goals that become so valuable that at the end of the day, they can now in turn bring you money. So what am I saying in essence is that when you value learning over money, you get to gain values. That value will go a long way to in turn give you the money that you desire towards the higher heights that you want to achieve in life. And when you don't have the ability to generate income, or to have the right amount of money that you can be able to use in your path, use in that step that you need in order to become better, or to make your life become different, you should learn how to only or equally focus on your values. By so doing, you would be refining, reshaping it, making it become better one day at a time. And of course, when you do this, you will realize that it will in turn give you the money that you so much desire. Thank you for following. We can move to the next point, which is the third point on today's presentation, on how to focus on the right steps. Keep expanding your experience. The third point is keep expanding your experience. And if you're following at this hour, if you are learning something, you can write in the chat box, keep expanding your experience. How do you get to expand your experience? It is that's the moment you set out to achieve your goals, you will realize that you have a lot of things to learn. You have a lot of new ideas that you need to shape in order to make sure that the steps that you're taking will lead you to the right path. And by so doing, you should be able to have that open mindset, that growth mindset. You should be open-minded in order to understand the skills that are necessary at the moment, which might be limiting you to take that step. Maybe it can be communication, it can be listening, it can be, your problem solving skills. What are those skills that are necessary in order for you to take that step? Maybe it can be negotiation skills. Maybe you want to build a project. You need to be able to negotiate, have that ability to build that skill. The second point is maybe you want to take that training program and it will advance your step forward. And that is why we are here bringing you this training every week. Shows that if you go through the trainings, you realize that there is a little step that will advance you ahead, and you will not be able to know that you have actually taken a step, but deep in you there is something that must have transformed, that will go a long way to enhance your step towards that right direction that you are heading. And that is why I always encourage you to follow presentations on this platform, at this platform, and of course subscribing to my YouTube channel and hitting the like button, because we'll always have presentations every week at this same platform. And the last point for you to expand your experience is really to read books that concerns your path, read books that would give you more experience on the things that you want to transform, on the value that you want to build. And of course, the bright books will give you the ability to take the right steps. Are you learning something? If you are learning something, please hit some comment on the chat box. Now, the last but not the least point for this presentation is for you to identify what holds you back. Identify what holds you back. It is challenging at times to actually know what is that one thing that holds us not from taking that step. And the moment you get to identify this one thing, it can be just one thing. It can be your habit. It can be your mindset. It can be the friends that you have. It can be the opinions of others. It can be you just talking to somebody, and by so doing, and that person listens to you without actually telling you something, and you realize through telling that person or sharing with that person what you are finding it difficult to do, you realize that you actually have answers to your questions. A lot of people get to minimize the ability to meditate. A lot of people get to minimize the ability to have coaches, mentors to talk to. A lot of people get to minimize the ability to actually have the growth mindset towards what they are building. And of course, when you focus on getting your goals accomplished, despite the challenges, you will realize that with these little steps that you have been able to identify that will hold you back, or these little things that you identify that holds you back, you will be able to take that little step towards the right direction that will create an impact in your life, will make a difference in your life. Conclusively, your success is determined by the quality of steps that you take and in the right direction over a period of time. And the quality of steps will come from the kind of friends you have, the kind of people you share your challenges with, the kind of ideas that you receive from people, and of course, with the right mindset, you will realize that obstacles on your growth path can be the thoughts that you have of the sky maybe falling down, of maybe you are like a little child or somebody passing through a graveyard at midnight and having that grip of fear in him or her by not taking that bold step. Now, by the time you get to focus on that one little step, you realize that no matter how things may be difficult, you will not only wish for things to change, but you actually can take that bold step. Now, my question for you, you following this presentation is, before that question, I would like you to know that you still have a choice. And the choice is yours, because it's your responsibility to make the right choice and to take the right decision. You still have the right choice to take that step forward. And now, will you wait for the right time to take that step, or will you actually take that bold step? Let me reframe the question. You have a choice to either take a step forward, or you wait for the right time to take that bold step. Are you willing to take the right choice from what you have at the moment, I'll encourage you to always take the right step or the right choice that will advance you forward, because it is my desire that whatever thing that we do in life, we should be able to understand what is necessary for our lives to become much better, one day at a time, one step at a time. For our own growth process will only go a long way to create that change that we desire to see in our community, and of course making humanity a better place for the love, that's making the world a better place for the love of humanity. Thank you so much for following for tonight. For today's presentation, this hour's presentation was brought to you by Donald Vichas, and thank you so much. For I am your productivity strategist, pleading on you to kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have been able to find value in this presentation and you have been able to follow this presentation to this end. It means that you really have this platform at heart. Kindly like, comment, and of course, as you subscribe, each time I do present or do upload new videos on this platform, you always be the first person to have that presentation and of course creating that change. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.